This was it was last week's quiz. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because there was already videos from last week that you could go back and watch. But some of these are really easy. I mean, right there, 2 square root of 3 times 2 square root of 3. You just multiply the numbers, you get 4. Multiply the square root of 3 times square root of 3, you end up with just 3. No more square root. Because square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9, and the square root of 9 takes you back to 3. So your final answer is just 12. So as a matter of fact, I'm just going to not explain this because you guys could please go back to last week's videos and watch all the videos so you could get better at simplifying radicals. So let's just do one of them then. Number 19. That's a good one because it requires you to get rid of the radical, and in order to get rid of the radical in the denominator, you have to multiply this binomial by its conjugate. The conjugate of 7 minus 2 square root of 2 is 7 plus the square root of 2. So you're going to multiply the top also by 7 plus the square root of 2. Okay? So when you distribute on the bottom, 7 times 7, that's 49. 7 times the square root of 2 is positive 7 square root of 2. And then negative square root of 2 times 7, that's negative 7 square root of 2. And negative square root of 2 times positive square root of 2 is negative square root of 4, which we know later becomes the nice number 2. So the middle terms, positive 7 square root of 2 and negative 7 square root of 2 cancel out. What you end up with is 49 minus 2, which is 47. That's the denominator. That's not the answer. That's barely the number on the denominator. Now up on top, we still need to distribute the 3 into both of those. So 3 times 7, that's 21. And 3 times the positive square root of 2, that's positive 3 square root of 2. So 21 plus 3 square root of 2 on top over 47 will be your final answer. 21 plus 3 square root of 2 up on top over 47 is your final answer. So on this guy, what we need to do is split the root. And then after that, we could simplify the first term. The third root of negative 8, that's negative 2. Because negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4 times negative 2 will give you the negative 8. Now the next term, this guy, it's kind of pointless to do anything with that. Because even if you were to change it to d to the power over root, 2/3, that fraction cannot be reduced and it cannot be changed to a mixed number, so there's nothing to do with it. So I'm not even going to change it. I'm going to leave it exactly the way it is. But the last one, you could change it to a rational exponent, f to the 5/3, and then you could actually change it to a mixed fraction, f to the 1 2/3, and we changed it to a mixed fraction so we could split the base. You get the whole number on the first f and the fraction 2/3 on the second f. The only other thing to do is change the rational exponent back to a radical. So that would be the third root of f squared. F to the 2/3, power of 2, root 3. So third root of f squared. The f to the 1, I'm going to bring it down on my answer at the end. This negative 2, I'm going to bring it down. So let me bring down the negative 2. Let me bring down the f to the 1 right next to it. And this one I didn't change. I'm just going to bring that down. It's going to be the third root of d squared. And then the only other thing to do would be to multiply both of these roots together. So your final answer should be negative 2f, the cube root of d squared, f squared, together underneath that same root. We're done. How about a simple one from the quiz like this guy? What could we do here? Let's change that root to a rational exponent. So 16 could be rewritten as what? 2 to the 4th power, correct? And the third root could be rewritten as the power of 1/3. Yay? Okay? So let's multiply a power to a power, or you could think power over root. So it's going to be 4/3. whether you multiply them or you think power over root, it's still going to be 2 to the 4/3 power. 2 to the 4/3 power. That's improper fraction. So what do we do with improper fractions? We change them to mixed fractions. So it's going to be 2. 4 divided by 3, it'll go in one time. You'll have a remainder of 1 over the original divisor 3. So it's 2 to the 1 1/3 power. And then from there, what do we do? Split the base. Let's put the 2 down here, 2 over here. The 1, the whole number 1 is going to go on the first one as a power, so it's 2 to the 1. The other one's 1/3. The only other thing you need to do is change back to radical form. So your final answer is really going to be 2, because this guy, that's 2. And 2 to the 1/3 power is really the third root of 2. Now you need to put that third root, the 3, right in between that little area right there of the square root symbol. Okay? That's your final answer. Number 16 on last week's quiz. Let's split that root. The 4 is going to stay out. You're going to have the square root of 50. You're going to have the square root of x to the 5th. So the square root of 50 becomes what? Square root of 25 times 2, right? So you split the root, and you end up with 4 times 5, because the square root of 25 is 5, times the square root of 2, which means that you end up with 20 times the square root of 2. Now I'm still going to work on, hey Jonathan, the square root of x to the 5th. So working on the square root of x to the 5th, let's first change to a rational exponent, power over root, 5 over 2. Because that's a square root, there's an invisible 2 right there when there's no root in there, so that's a square root, so it's 5 over 2. 5 over 2, 5 divided by 2 would be x to the 2 1/2, right? Half of $5 is $2.50. And then we're going to split the base, put 1x here and 1x over here, put the whole number 2 on the first x, the fraction on the second x as powers, and then we will be able to bring that down right here, x squared times the x to the 1/2 is really going to be changed back to the square root of x. And now let's just finish multiplying what we have down here. 20 times x squared, that'll be 20x squared. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of x, just put them together, the square root of 2x. That's your final answer. I hope you guys get it.